I haven't brought this up in a while, and I made a video about this a while ago. But if your income is at least $145,000 a year, you need to be aware of this one change in your 401k that is starting in the year 2025 and then in 2026. So it could be in your 401k, 403b, TSP, and other employer sponsored retirement accounts starting in January 2026. You actually have 2024 and 2025 remaining to enjoy this tax break with the catch up contribution. Even if you're only in your 20s or 30s, this is a piece of information you should know so that you can properly plan for your FIRE investment strategy. So if you're going to be 50 years old soon, or you're already at least 50 years old, you need to be aware that Secure Act 2.0 is going to take away the ability to invest your catch-up contributions in traditional or in pre-tax dollars starting in January 2026 if your income is at least $145,000 a year. That number is also going to be adjusted for inflation, so it could be $150,000 or $155,000 in 2 years. We'll see what happens. It was supposed to happen this year, but it got delayed by the IRS for whatever reason. So people just kind of stopped talking about it. This was like 7 months ago, right? So what does that mean for your 401k, 403b, or TSP starting in January 2026? Assuming that all of the numbers remain the same for the year 2026, you can still make traditional or Roth contributions for the employee portion of your 401k. So it doesn't matter if you make $145,000 a year, you can still invest up to $23,000 in either traditional or Roth. I was showing this to some of my private clients, and you can be a part of it by visiting firesession.com/coaching and schedule a 60-minute session with me. But if you're turning 50 years old in the year 2026, it doesn't matter what month you turn 50. And if you make over $145,000 a year, you're only going to be able to put that catch-up contribution in Roth because Congress passed Secure Act 2.0 to implement that law to require you to pay your taxes now instead of paying taxes later in your retirement. This is kind of a silent way to collect your taxes without really advertising it, right? If they say tax hike, people are going to be like, what? But if they just kind of put this in the law and say Secure Act 2.0, if you make more than $145,000 a year, that catch-up contribution, I'm gonna need that tax now. That's basically what Congress did. And if you're brand new to investing, a Roth means that you're essentially paying taxes now so that your Roth money can grow tax-free and then take the money out later tax-free. A traditional 401k means that you're going to delay paying taxes now and then pay the taxes later when you're retired. That makes sense so far, right? And if you make less than $145,000 a year, which is funny because their website even said you're a high income earner for $145,000 a year, but you're not really a high income earner for if you lived in San Francisco or LA or somewhere that's expensive. But this income limit applies to everybody in the US. But anyway, if you make less than $145,000 a year, you will still have the option to invest in either traditional or Roth. Whether you should do traditional or Roth will depend on your entire financial situation. When you log into your 401k contribution detail, you're going to have the option to contribute as an employee in pre-tax or Roth and catch-up limit in pre-tax or Roth. You have this year in 2024 and next year in 2025 to contribute to traditional if you're over the age of 50 for the catch-up contribution. And next year, in January 2025, the catch-up contribution limit for people between the ages of 60 and 63 will increase to $10,000. The same rule will apply starting in 2026 if your income is over $145,000 a year. So if you're 60 years old in 2026, making over $145,000 a year, you can invest $23,000 right here in either traditional or Roth, but that catch-up contribution of $10,000 or up to $10,000 can only go into Roth if your income is more than $145,000 a year. I know it's a little confusing between these two rules changes, but next year in 2025, you can still put that $10,000 in either traditional or Roth. And then in 2026, that $10,000 can only go into Roth if you make $145,000 a year. Now, if investing in Roth doesn't bother you, then by all means. I plan to do Roth now and continue to do Roth until my tax bracket goes to the 32% marginal tax rate. That's just me though. Don't do it just because I do it. So what do you think is better? Investing 500 bucks a month, making 10% return, or investing $1,000 a month, making a 7% return on investment? You can't figure out how much you can invest without a budget. There's no way around it. I personally tested out the budgeting app called YNAB, and it's not just an app that can track your income and expenses, but it can even help you create a plan to pay down your student loans, car loans, personal loans, or credit cards a lot faster. So if you're ready to change your life by getting out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle, you can get a free trial without any credit card information by using the link in the description below. When it comes to 401k, 403b, TSP, or whatever retirement accounts you have, you need to know how much of your money is in pre-tax. Okay, so look at your 401k and take a look and see how much traditional balance and Roth balance. How much of it is in traditional or pre-tax, and how much of it is in Roth. It doesn't matter where you are with your retirement journey. You can use my 401k calculator by visiting FiveStitcher.com/resources, or you can schedule a 60-minute session with me by visiting FiveStitcher.com/coaching. If your 401k is projected to grow to, let's say, $1.5 million, okay, then if about 40% of your pre-tax is going to be in, well, 40% of that 1.5 million is going to be in pre-tax, then that's going to be what, 600,000. And that's the money you need to be ready to pay taxes for when you're retired. Okay. And if the rest of it, let's say you have $900,000 in Roth balance, then that's the money you can enjoy tax free. Now, remember, the rules are different for each traditional 401k and Roth 401k. Same rules apply with the 403b or TSP. If you're in a nonprofit organization like a professor, college professor, or a teacher or something like that, working in a medical field, or a federal government employee using the TSP. Log into your retirement account today with whatever brokerage company you have and find out what your pre-tax balance is and the Roth balance is, okay? You have to start planning for your retirement now. Do not wait until you're close to your retirement age to figure out what you have in your account. And these changes don't happen very often, but whenever they do, I will be sure to let you know. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't done it already.